it ain't west side, nigga, it ain't pop. That's on my mom.
Tell me what's a nigga to do when it's true. Ain't nothing new, so I do what I do to get through. Now first they have me dropping down piss. I'm on the record 47 laying on my hips.
Hey guys, you're back with Juzzie, and in this video we're going to look at doing a few modifications to the headlight area of the bike. So I've got three parts that I'm going to cover in this install whilst I've got the headlight disassembled. In a continuation of the last video, I'm actually going to be installing these Kojima LEDs to replace the factory fat indicators. So that's going to tidy up and streamline the front of the bike. I'm also going to, whilst I take the headlight apart, install this carbon surround to get rid of a dull grey side part from factory. And the last thing I'm going to install is these Philips Crystal Vision H4 LED globes. So these LED lights are going to replace the stock halogen globe. This is going to increase the brightness and the field of view. And because it's 4,300 instead of 6,000, it's going to actually have a very good balance between whiteness and brightness. I had a look at a number of videos online showing the 6,000 version of this Philips. It's actually called the Diamond Vision, and I've actually had the Diamond Vision in my previous car, and it was nice to look at the headlight, but when you're in a driving position and you're looking out, the actual visibility of the headlight lighting up things on the street at nighttime was not as good. So I agree from people's reviews online that this 4300K1 is the one to get. As per usual, the links to all the parts that I buy in my video installs can be found in the description box beneath the video. Please check that and follow the links to see how much it will cost to buy the part and get it delivered to where you are. So I'm located in Brisbane, Australia, and right now I'm going to mount up the camera and we're going to look at how to remove the headlight so that we can pull it apart and get these three mods covered in this video. In this install, I just wanted to briefly mention that in Australia, when you go to have indicators on the front of your bike, the law here under ADR 19 is that the beginning of the indicator, so the very edge to the very edge, has to be 30 centimeters. So when you go to replace indicators on your bike, 30 centimeters on the front, 24 centimeters on the rear, and if it ends up being narrower than that, no matter what indicator you buy, whether or not the indicator is E-stamped or not, that has nothing to do with the stand and how wide you make it. So you take that choice if you make that mod. I'm about to take that choice. I'm fine with it. If I receive a defect notice for it, I will try and plead and show that it's E-marked and how I tried to do a proper install. And if it doesn't work out for me, then so be it. But to start this install, we're first going to start off by removing this mini factory sort of visor cover. Whenever you go to use Allen keys on your bike, make sure you use a hardened set. It's good for your tools, it's good for your bits, it's good for the bolt, it's good for everything. It saves your sanity if you end up stripping a bolt so that you don't have to end up fixing it later. So this is a 4mm Allen key. You don't need to use an impact wrench. In fact, most people won't. I like to use it because it's just so damn easy. So you want to start off by removing those 4mm bolts and setting them aside. Once you do that, that will enable you to remove this cover. It's just got a tiny little white push plastic clip there. Nothing special to it. Just lift it straight up and put it aside. The next thing you need to do is you'll see inside here that there is another set of 4mm Allen key headed bolts right there. So I'll try and fit my driver in there. If it doesn't work, I'll go straight to a hand tool. Okay, so they're not very long bolts, but they are kind of like a mushroom headed Allen key, Allen headed bolt. They are a bit grippy to come out because they've got the chamfered collar here, and they go into a rather large rubber grommet. So there's 2 of those to remove. So once you remove those 2, the next thing is you need to come around to the back of a headlight, and you need to use a little tiny flathead screwdriver like that to push out some push pins. So the easiest thing to do, turn your steering wheel to the right, come over to the left side, and you'll see on your bike, might be a bit hard here because I've got no light here, but there is a tiny little push pin that you need to push in, and you'll hear a little clip. Okay, so it turned out that I didn't actually have to remove those push clips. You just simply push the center of them, and it enables the headlight then to actually tilt forward. So now that the headlight is pushed forward, the next step that we're going to try and do is remove this plug here. So there's 2 plugs that we need to undo. Just simply push the clip down, and that will release that cable. And then you've got the cable here for your H4 LED globe. Now that is just simply a push in, and once you've got that removed, you can then pull this out. So if I show you here, you'll see that there's 2 rubber grommets, and those rubber grommets simply just push into this half moon recess on either side. So I'll set the camera up on the table now, and we'll start disassembling this headlight to change the globe and to put the carbon surrounds on. Alright guys, so the first thing I'm going to look at is replacing the actual main headlight bulb itself. So pretty similar setup to what I'm used to in a car. I've never actually done this on a motorbike before, but usually you have some sort of dust and rain rubber cover, which will just check the orientation. It's got sporks or sport, something like that at the top. So that's the part that goes to the top, and it simply just pulls off like so. Alright guys, so now that I've removed this rubber dust cap from the back of a headlight, we need to try and get this bulb out. So the way to do it is to push this down, so down and towards the ground, and then that part simply swivels underneath this Phillips screwdriver here. So the next thing you've got is the actual factory globe. So that's what the factory globe looks like. Alright, so I've got the Phillips globe out, and I'm just trying very carefully not to touch the bulb at all. So as you can see, on the bottom, it's got 3 tabs. I'm holding on to one of them. So you've got your same H4 globe. Now this Crystal Vision set I purchased is actually for a vehicle. So just in case you're wondering, if you're going on eBay, it doesn't matter if it looks or is specified for a car. H4 is just a common standard. It will fit in. So it is just the same length, same width, same height as the factory bulb. So that is going to make for a nice install. So just going to place that straight in there, just as it was from factory. I'm going to put that clip down, pull it down towards the bottom of the camera and underneath the little loop there. So that's in nice and tight now. Just making sure that that Phillips head is nice and tight. The next thing you'll notice is that in the lower corner of both sides, there is provision for a T10 LED. So normally if these, you just turn it like you're opening a tap, anti-clockwise, and inside there is a bulb. So that bulb in there as well is a W5W T10 LED. Oh, is it an LED? No, it's a halogen globe. So that's what it looks like. So that can go in a spare parts bag like everything else. And then here in the Phillips box, it looks like, what have I done? Okay, so we've got 2 white LEDs to match the main H4 globe. So this, just like the factory bulb, has a wedge. I think that's known as the W5W, but on here it says 12 volt 6000 K. So that's interesting. So it's 6000 K for the small bulbs and 4300 for the main bulb. So LEDs don't care about positive and negative, doesn't matter which way you put it in. So that's just gone straight in, just like that, 100% plug and play. We're just going to put that in and turn that back to the right so that the cable is just like this. All right, so we're going to do the same on this side. Turn it to the left, unplug it, pull out this globe, say bye bye, pop in the T10 W5W 6000 LED. It fits in there perfectly, just like the factory globe. Is literally how you change the H4 globe and the T10 globes for LED. Carbon hydro dip surround for the headlight. To remove the headlight from the headlight fairing, I guess I'll call this, what we need to do, oh, look at that. That's the LED globe in there. Looks super nice. It's got a nice little blue tinge to it because it's got a blue cover over the actual globe. But anyway, in order to remove this grey part from the headlight, we need to start undoing some of these screws, I think. So I'm going to undo 1, 2, 3, 4, and it looks like I've got 1 on the bottom, 5. All right, so nice. Let's put that to the side with the screws, 5 screws, and let's have a look here. So interestingly, they've put a little bit of foil here to stop any sort of heat deforming the plastic. So here's the part that I want to install. Alright guys, so I've just used my little flathead screwdriver to pry those 2 prongs at the bottom off. Then I found that there is a prong on the side here, and then there's a prong on top as well. So I've just pulled that back a little bit. I'll do the same on this side. Pull it back, one at the top. So the left side is out, sort of clipped out. So it looks to me like it needs to push this way. There you go. All right. So there is your fairing, and here is your side surround. So that wasn't too bad. A little bit fidgety because it's all brand new. It's got such low Ks on the bike. But here is the carbon part. Now, like the carbon cowl and the Yoshimura exhaust that I've purchased, I've already put 2 layers of ceramic coating onto this product. So it's nice and protected. Whether or not it's genuine carbon fiber or not, anything that's got a clear, you should be putting ceramic coating on to protect your paint. It makes it nice and easy to wash, nice and easy to clean, and it just gives it a little bit more of a glossy look. Those large parts in, duck this part underneath. Please don't break on me. There you go, it didn't break. So both sides in? Yep. So both sides are in now. So I'm going to push that one back. Yay. Going to push this one back. Yay. And then I've got the bottom part. So there it is. 2 clips at the bottom. There's one and there's the other. So that's in. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. There is actually a little clip here on the side as well, but I didn't notice. So that comes out as part of pushing this part that way. But here's how it looks. Super nice. So now instead of black and dull plastic, as you see here, we've now got black and carbon fiber looking super. So I'm going to lay that back down and I'm going to put the headlight back onto this top part. It's actually a fairly neat install. This is going to make the front end of the bike absolutely transform. It's going to look nice and white. It's going to have some carbon fiber. So I'm just going to drive the very first parts of this in by hand. Tighten up with a drill shortly after. Nice. It's all going in super nice. So you can see here I've put a mat. We can put a cloth underneath just to avoid it getting all scratched up on the floor. So they're all now hand tightened in. All right. Good. So easy. Japanese bike, actually made in Japan. Different from my last bike, where everything was assembled in Thailand. Had questionable bolts all the way around it. Not this one. Everything is proper quality. It fits really good. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is just put this dust cover back on, just making sure that it says Sporks, S-P-O-R-X. What does that mean? I have no idea. Make sure that it goes around the H4 prongs. Look, everything just fits so well. Really good. Okay, so that's back together. Look at that transformer. Looks pretty neat to me. So, before I actually go and install this headlight, I'm now going to move to installing those Kojima LEDs. Alright guys, so here is the Kojima aftermarket LED set, again, which I'll have a link to in the description. I want to put the base onto the bottom of the indicator mount. You don't have to do that, but I just want to have it as wide as possible so that I can try to make it as legal as possible. So when you get the indicator, it's the exact same as the rear. The only difference is that on the front, you only need a very short amount of loom to reach the factory cable. Alright, so we're looking at the factory indicators now on the front and we're trying to remove it. So I'm using an 8mm spanner to remove that one. Same thing on the other side. Get it right, Juzzie. Now you'll see here that the loom comes straight out of the indicator and there's the plug. It can't be any more easier than that. So to remove this clip, we're just going to raise the end, out it comes. Because I've undone that nut, look how easy that is. And there is one fat stock factory indicator the hell out of there. I fed the base plate through on the loom. I'm trying to feed through now the bullet plugs. I'm just going to move not the shrink wrap, but the sheath for the LED, so that I've got some room to bend the bullet plug and to be able to push both of them through. So there you can see that they come through fine. The sheath comes through fine. You set up the base plate on the base of the LED and great, it all comes through. Alright, so I've just pushed this sheath back the opposite way. Now we're putting one side of the washer through, bending the bullet plug in and over the sheath, doing the same thing for the nut. Then put the second bullet plug through. That's the slightly tighter of the two, of course, because the nut is narrower then the washer, and then you just have to feed the washer and the nut over the thread and just start winding it in. These indicators have a super nice look to them because they're blacked out with just the clear, of course, LEDs inside. So now that I've got that part tightened up, the spanner for the factory one was an 8mm, whereas this is a 10, so we'll tighten that up. Alright, so because it's a ratchet spanner, I'm not going to bother putting that through over the LEDs. Oh, actually, it is a 12. I can actually easily fit this over. So we want to do this up tight, but we don't want to be breaking it because all of it is plastic. So we just want to have enough that you feel that it's going to be comfortable. So now that that is all in on that side, we've just got the bullet connector extensions. Alright, so I've got those two bullet plugs connected together. So then it's simply just a case of pushing the connector in. How easy is that? That's super easy. Okay, so here's the zip tie that Kojima gives you in the bag. Okay, so that's just put together there. Cut that away. And now we're going to do the same for the other side. Okay, so how good does that look? As you can see down the bottom here, I've got this zip tied in, 100% the same as the other way. Super neat install. Okay guys, so now I've got the headlight here. I need to put these rubber grommets or posts into these little half moons down the bottom. The second thing is to get the H4 globe plug, push it onto those 3 prongs at the back of the LED bulb, and the last thing is the cable here that powers the 2 mini globes in the headlight housing. The 2 little push pin clips when you go to push this back in. When you do, you'll then be able to use these collared bolts to tighten the headlight back in. You just need to place it in, get the other one, place it in, and drive those back in. Next, just get these 2 little black push pins that you took out from the back side near the forks. Nice and easy, they push in and they won't make that clipping sound because they only make the click sound when you're pushing them out. Alright, so that's nice and back in now. The last step of the process is to mount that back in at the bottom and place these 2 bolts back in. Alright, so here's the headlight back in. The factory top visor is on. There is the indicators. Look how much better that looks now that that's slimline. And check out the carbon surround. Super nice. Super nice indeed. Okay, so let's turn on the headlights. Okay, so I've got the indicators on, just to show you. Check out the whiteness of that H4 bulb and the whiteness of the bulb on the side. So that looks super good. Here it is on my back of my garage door. The relay is in for the indicators, so if you're wanting to know how to install the relay, I had that in my last video install, but just to quickly recap, it's found here at the base, about 1 hand's back from the shock. There is a box that you pull down towards the front tire, and then there's a relay that you have to pull out and put a new one in. I bought this as a whole set in the Kojima aftermarket LED package, and that was a super clean install, if I do say myself. carbon surround is on, looks amazing. So yeah, another win for the TweakedGSX. That'll be the end of this install for today, folks. I hope you've enjoyed that video. If you've got any comments, please mention them below. So I've got probably a third of my installs completed. So I've got some levers and some protectors. I've got the exhaust. I think I'm going to save that to last. Next install will probably be the mirrors and some carbon parts. So I hope you join me again for that video. License plate is on, TweakedGSX. Tweaked is back, buddy. See you guys in the next video. Bye for now.
Got your head up, even when the road is hard, never give up, baby don't try. Hope you got your head up, even when the road is hard, never give up.
I can't tell you what it really is, I can only tell you what it feels like. And right now there's a steel knife in my windpipe. I can't breathe but I still fight, while I can fight. As long as the wrong feels right, it's like I'm in flight. High off a log, drunk on my hate, it's like I'm huffing pain. I love it, the more I suffer, I suffocate.